Call to order. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? May we have a roll call, please?
Okay, Mr. Prince.
Here.
Mr. Corman.
Here.
Mr. Pavoni.
Here.
Ms. Perez.
Here.
Mr. McIrvin.
Here.
Ms. Switchy.
Here.
Mr. Person.
Here.
Roll call, Mr. Mayor, all present.
Thank you, Jason. So contrary to what everybody believes, there's not a security problem tonight. We have a very special presentation, so I'm going to call Chief Milosevic up. Chief, before you get started, I want to make sure that all the honorees stop for a moment so they even get a picture of the two of you.
Okay.
Because you know how they like to just run off, so you got to corral them.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
and also for family members that like to take pictures, come on up front. We don't care if you walk up on the podium.
No, you're
You
welcome
get a
anywhere.
Better picture.
Thanks, Chief.
Okay. Mayor Law, Council President Prince, members of council and viewing audience. Thank you for this opportunity this evening to recognize several members of the Renton Police Department. I'll first go through our employees of the quarter, employees of the year, followed by recognizing our recent promotion of Deputy Chief John Schultz, and finish that with the awarding of our Meritorious Service Medal to Sergeant John Awai. So with that, I will ask Officer Eric Gordon to come forward. Officer Gordon is one of our team leaders on our Valley SWAT team and has been instrumental in providing a high level of tactical training and emergency response for our patrol officers. Training topics including responses to barricaded subjects, hostage situations, vehicle takedowns, officer rescue, and building searches. Officer Gordon reaches out to new employees assigned to the division on a one-on-one environment to develop them and mentor them into being our new officers. As a member of Valley SWAT, he is very aware of the impact his SWAT duties have on patrol, and he counteracts this by working diligently when he is working patrol. He will often take calls outside of his district to alleviate the workload of his squad. Officer Gordon has led the department's efforts in our valley-wide active shooter training for the last several years, ensuring that not only our officers are proficient in responding to this type of emergency, but all officers in the valley are appropriately trained. So Officer Gordon was our second quarter employee of the year. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Could I have Detective Pete Montemayor come forward?
Pete, we wanted to see you in uniform.
I didn't know that.
Does he have one?
Detective Montemayor has been a pivotal informal and formal leader within the investigations division. He ensures that all division personnel understand their role in producing high-quality investigations with the goal of successful prosecution. Detective Montemayor has taken the role of division trainer by instructing newly assigned detectives on processes and procedures that is expected of their assignment. He is also involved in training new officers during their orientation period of the role of investigations and how information obtained by our patrol officers is crucial to successful case resolution. Detective Montemayor will routinely volunteer for some of the most difficult cases and will take the lead on major criminal investigations. He makes himself available for after-hour call-outs to assist our patrol division. Over the last 2 years, he has responded to over 95% of all the division's after-hour call-outs received. This number is far above beyond his peers in the division. Pete plays a pivotal role in the success of our investigations division. And Pete was a third quarter employee of the third quarter this past year. have Officer Patrick Morgan come forward. Patrick was our employee of the fourth quarter this past year. Officer Morgan sets the standard in our department for following our 4 core values of integrity, service, valor, and professionalism. Officer Morgan is a very capable and knowledgeable officer. He has no problem taking the lead during stressful and rapidly evolving situations. While at the same time, he is a very humble man who seeks self-improvement and his own actions. He leads by example and will willingly mentor and coach new officers in an effort to improve performance and service. Officer Morgan is an effective communicator and is an avid supporter of the department's efforts to increase our engagement with our citizens and businesses. Congratulations. And can I have Officer Michael Thompson come forward? Officer Thompson was our employee of the first quarter and is our employee of the year for this 2017. Officer Thompson has been a very valuable member of our field training officer program by constantly training new officers over the past year. Since 2016, Officer Thompson has trained 7 new officers, which has kept a student officer under his supervision for almost the majority of the time this past year. His dedication to his assignment and the department is exemplified by the quality of the officers who have completed field training under his guidance. During the same period, Officer Thompson is the primary officer in charge of his shift. The expectations of an officer in charge is to act as a sergeant in his or her absence of the squad sergeant. The squad of officers that he has worked with have been very effective in meeting their goals and have developed into an effective team. And part of this reason is the role that Officer Thompson plays on his squad. Officer Thompson has taken the task of being engaged while on duty seriously this past year and has been the forefront in regards to community engagement for years. Some examples include he conducted what we call officer friendlies at 6 different preschools. He's been known to change a tire or 2 out there for a stranded citizen, and even given a ride home to one of our seniors who apparently left his major project so he could graduate this past year from Redden High School. So he came around home in the middle of the day to make sure he could pick up his project. Officer Thompson is also a member of our firearms team who spends time both on duty and off duty with officers in order to become more proficient at the range. He is a reflection of our core values. His positive attitude and enthusiasm for his profession is welcome among his peers. Congratulations.
We see. Don't run yet.
I'd ask that Deputy Chief John Schultz come forward. This last fall, the police department conducted a minor reorganization and brought back the 2nd deputy chief position. When I was first hired with the Redden Police Department 33 years ago, we effectively had 2 deputy chiefs, although at the time they were called captains. When Deputy Chief Don Person retired, the 2nd position was not filled. As a result of the Benson Hill annexation, we brought back the 2nd deputy chief, only to reduce it back to 1 deputy chief years later. As the expectations rise of law enforcement to be ever increasingly engaged with the community and growing expectations within the department, we decided to bring back the 2nd deputy chief position. So effective January 1 of this past year, John was appointed to this position of deputy chief. He has been with the department over 23 years, was a very successful K-9 officer with Scout for 7 years. And in 2006, he was promoted to sergeant, where he spent time both in patrol and in special operations as a supervisor. In 2014, he was promoted to commander and spent 3 years in patrol. Now as deputy chief, John will be responsible for patrol operations, investigations, and our staff services division. Congratulations. Last but not least, I'd like Sergeant John O'White to come forward. Our last presentation tonight is the award of the Department's Meritorious Service Medal to Sergeant John O'White. This award is in recognition for his contributions over the last 20 years in developing and promoting a positive relationship between the Hispanic community and the Renton Police Department. Throughout his career, Sergeant O'White has advocated for the Hispanic community in Renton. He was one of our first bilingual officers, and his ability to communicate with victims, witnesses, and suspects in Spanish has substantially increased our effectiveness in resolving issues. This past year, Sergeant O'White started a mini citizens academy for members of Centro Rendu. Sergeant O'White coordinated these activities with the group, including ride-alongs at the conclusion of the course. Sergeant O'White has been a regular guest speaker at local Spanish radio station that was broadcast statewide. His ability to communicate about a wide variety of law enforcement topics important to the Hispanic community is well received and appreciated. In fact, this last summer I had the opportunity to sit in on one of those radio broadcasts. Sergeant O'White has spent a substantial amount of his time, both on duty and off duty, speaking with local churches and organizations. Oftentimes, he is accompanied with his wife. If you look at our Facebook website, occasionally you'll see posts that are written in Spanish. We can thank Sergeant O'White for that. Sergeant O'White has been instrumental in bridging the gap between police and the Hispanic community in an effort to build relationships and trust. I'd like to personally thank John for his outreach efforts for these past 20 years and congratulate him for receiving the Department's Meritorious Service Medal. Congratulations.
Thank you, Chief.
Hey, John. John, I can see you've got a lot of fans here tonight. We're not surprised. I just wanted to say on behalf of the administration clearly, and I'm sure I'm speaking for the council, we appreciate the work you've done all these years. It's been tremendous, been a real asset, and Chief, it couldn't have picked a better candidate for this type of honor. Yes, Ms. Perez.
Yeah, on behalf of the Latino community, Sergeant John O'White, I will also like to thank you, not just for your commitment, but also for keeping us safe, for protecting us, and for your friendship. You are not just bilingual and bicultural, you are one of us. And for the benefit of the Spanish-speaking population, I will repeat this in Spanish. John, muchísimas gracias por todo lo que haces por nosotros. En nombre de la comunidad latina, no tenemos cómo agradecerte, como la forma en cómo nos proteges, estás con nosotros, porque tú no nada más hablas inglés y español, tú eres uno de nosotros. Mil gracias por todos tus esfuerzos.
We agree, John.
That is tonight's presentation. We will be having a reception next door, and everyone's invited. So thank you again for this.
Thank you very much, Chief. Really appreciate it. And congratulations to all the officers who received honors tonight.
Mr. Mayor, Council, may I request a photo of the Mayor, Council, Chief, and John, please, together?
Okay. John, you want to come forward?
Don, fit in here. All right. He's hiding behind you. That's fine.
Yes.
Okay, that's going to be tough to follow, Mr. Covington. with
Oh,
the
I've got some
administrative
exciting
report.
news, Mr. Mayor. I just am really excited about following up that presentation. Actually, we do have a couple of things. Number one, tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., we will be having a groundbreaking for Fire Station 15. And the public's invited to that. Council obviously certainly there. We're excited about this. The Renton Regional Fire Authority will ultimately operate that station. The city is building it per our commitment to the community when we approved the creation of the Regional Renton Fire Authority. And Thursday, March 1st, the Highlands Reservoir project will have an open house. That's the project that will be not there, but up in the Highlands area. That's to just share people, help people learn a little bit more about the upcoming Highlands Reservoir project. That's from 5:30 to 7 p.m. at the Renton Highlands Library. I think that is all, Mr. Mayor. Normal traffic issues around town. Just want people to be careful in their driving. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Covington. Don't take it personally, but everybody got up and left.
I'm used to that.
Okay, we don't have anybody sign up for audience comments, so moving on to the consent agenda. We have 11 items for council consideration. Are there any items a council member would like pulled for discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Prince.
seeing none, I move we approve the consent agenda as published.
Second?
Been moved by Mr. Prince, second by Mr. Corman. The council concur with the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? The ayes have it. Moving on to unfinished business, Mr. Prince.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, the committee of the whole has a committee report.
Okay, Committee of the Whole Committee Report, Protections Against Source of Income Discrimination. The Committee of the Whole recommends concurrence in staff's recommendation that council amend the ordinance providing protections against source of income discrimination by one, expanding eligible housing subsidy programs to include any subsidy program offered by a government program, a private nonprofit, or any other assistance program that pays all or part of a tenant's rent through a direct arrangement between the program and the owner or lessor of the real property. And two, defining alternative sources of income as any lawful, verifiable income that comes from sources other than employment. And three, requiring a landlord to subtract any payment from a Section 8 or other subsidy program from the total monthly rent and include all sources of income in the tenant's total income when calculating income screening criteria for any tenant. And four, giving landlords the discretion to exclude any subsidy program or alternative source of income from an income to rent screening if the subsidy income has a known sunset date occurring within the lease term. This is signed by the council president.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Prince.
I move the council concur with the committee of the whole committee report.
Second?
It's been moved by Mr. Prince, second by Mr. McIrvin, that council concur with the committee of the whole committee report. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
That's all, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Corman.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Mr. Pavoni.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Ms. Perez.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. McIrvin.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
All right, Ms. Witchy.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, well, then we'll get something from Don Person.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Have one report.
Okay, Finance Committee report. Approval of claims and payroll vouchers. Finance Committee approves the following payments. One, accounts payable, total payments of $10,330,974.38 for vouchers 363444, 363457 through 363755. Payroll benefit withholding vouchers 5728 and 5729, 5741 through 5749, and 363445 through 363456, and 4 wire transfers. Payroll, total payment of $1,394,628.68 for payroll vouchers, which includes 622 direct deposits and 45 checks, which is the January 16 through 31, 2018 pay period. And a Kidder Matthews total payment of $45,768.77 for vouchers 1325 through 1326 and 5574 through 5600. This is signed by the committee chair and members.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Mr. Person.
Well, included in that voucher run, just a couple things. It seems like the State Department of Health requires us to get a health permit to run so people can get fresh, clean water. and that cost us $35,167.35 for the year. Then Burlington Northern seems that if we want to run a pipe underneath their railroad, they could bill us every year for $246 worth of rent, which doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to me. But just the other big item was we just paid the 4th of July fireworks expense. Take that back. The Christmas lights for Coulon Park, City Hall, and the Piazza. And Mr. Pavoni said he wants to go into the lighting business because it was $75,000 to do that.
Sure he does.
With that, I move the council concur in the recommendation of the Finance Committee.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Person, second by Ms. Perez, that council concur with the Finance Committee report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Just for some clarification on the Committee of the Whole report, this committee report just authorizes, the council's authorizing us to work up the details in an ordinance to come forward at a later date. Was there anything else, Mr. Covington, that?
No, I think that's all, Mr. Mayor. We'll be back with that ordinance per the policy direction from the council.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Okay, let's see, did I miss anybody?
Nope.
Okay. Moving on to legislation, we have a resolution and a couple ordinances.
Okay, the resolutions concerning the 2018 state tax annexation credit. Resolution of the City of Renton, Washington, certifying the City of Renton's authority to impose a sales and use tax under RCW 8214-415 as a credit against state sales and use tax relating to annexations.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Person.
I move the resolution be adopted as read.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Person, second by Mr. Prince, that this resolution be adopted as read. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Okay, the next ordinance regarding the Eric Ressler II annexation is for first reading. An ordinance of the City of Renton, Washington, annexing certain territory to the City of Renton. Eric Ressler II annexation, file number A17-001.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. McGurven.
I move that the ordinance be placed on second and final reading at the next council meeting.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. McGurven, second by Ms. Witchy, that this ordinance be placed on second and final reading at the next council meeting. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Okay, the final ordinance is for second and final reading is regarding the Tasca street vacation petition. An ordinance of the City of Renton, Washington, vacating a portion of North 38th Street between Meadow Avenue North and I-405. James Tasca petitioner, VAC 15-001, PRM 250064.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. McGurven.
I move that the ordinance be adopted as read.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. McGurven, second by Mr. Corman, that this ordinance be adopted as read and requires a roll call.
Mr. Prince?
Aye.
Mr. Corman?
Aye.
Mr. Pavoni?
Aye.
Ms. Perez?
Aye.
Mr. McGurven?
Aye.
Ms. Witchy?
Aye.
Mr. Person?
Aye.
Roll call, Mr. Mayor, all ayes.
The ayes have it. Thank you, Jason. Moving on to new business, Mr. Prince.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, the committee whole for March 5th, 2018 has been canceled. That's all, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Corman?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd just like to announce a transportation committee meeting for March 5th. That'll be at 5:30 PM in the council conference room. 2 items on the agenda. The first is Duval Avenue Northeast Improvement Project Supplemental Agreement 2. Second item is emerging issues in transportation. That's all, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Pavoni?
No new business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Ms. Perez?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Community Service Committee will be held in the council conference room on Monday 5th at 6 p.m. There are 3 items in the agenda. First, Renton Municipal Art Commission policy review, dog park discussion, and Henry Moses Aquatic Center discussion, and I will add emerging issues as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. McGurven?
No new business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Ms. Witchy?
No new business, Mr. Mayor.
And Mr. Person?
No new business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. It's the wish of the council.
Move we adjourn.
Second.
Been moved by Mr. Prince, second by Mr. Pavoni, that we adjourn. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.